Welcome into the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Harrison Graham, back with another video just for you guys. Let's talk about veteran free agent cornerback Bashaud Breeland, who, of course, has spent the past couple of seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs, in which he's been rock solid, by the way. Could he be heading to the Chicago Bears? Well, the report coming out of Chicago is that they have shown interest in signing Bashaud Breeland. No deal at this point. He also did visit with the Detroit Lions recently, but the tea leaves are telling us that the Chiefs don't really have a ton of interest at this point in time. Now, is there a dispute in how much money he wants? Is it just they're moving on from him for whatever reason? I'm not sure, but at this point in time, he remains available, and it looks like he's starting to at least show interest in heading to a different team. Now, he's been tweeting recently, and he's shown some frustration with how his free agency process has gone, which I understand. He's played really well past couple of years, and he said this just a few days ago: "You would think I'm asking for $10 million or something, like I'm really out here outpricing myself." What that was the narrative the past 2 years. Haha. I just say, give me what I deserve. I don't believe the hype. I'm not a rapper. I make music, so don't believe that either. Don't really know what the back part of that is, but basically what he's saying is, look, I don't want $10 million a year, but I want more than the vets minimum. Like, I played on $4.5, $5 million last year and played pretty well. Bashaud Breeland's clearly frustrated. There's no doubt about that. He feels like the past 2 years in Kansas City, he's played at a high level, and he's been a big part of this defense. And you know what? He's not wrong. Bashaud Breeland has been, I won't say a centerpiece of this defense, but he's held down the fort at one of the outside corner jobs. He is leaps and bounds better than Charvarius Ward. There is no doubt about that. So we'll see what happens. Chicago's a team that could certainly add a cornerback and benefit from a player like Bashaud Breeland. Predict it for us. Where will he play this upcoming season? Type C for the Chiefs, type O for other. I think at this point I'm leaning O for other when it comes to Breeland, but go ahead and get your votes in. Like I mentioned, he's been solid, man. 2019, came in here, signed on a one-year deal. Really good. 2 picks, 8 pass breakups, had an interception in the Super Bowl, which is actually that photo of this graphic right there when he picked off Jimmy Garoppolo. Last year, yeah, he had a 4-game suspension to start the year, but he was still good. 2 picks, 9 more pass breakups. Probably would have had well into the double digits had he been available for all 16 games. Had a forced fumble as well. The advanced metrics, by the way, will tell you he's played like a low-end number 1 corner the past couple of years with Kansas City. Now, throughout his career, has he been that? No, he hasn't. But you can at least safely say he's a starting caliber outside corner. Now, if you want to roll with L'Jarius Sneed, Charvarius Ward, and Rashad Fenton, you can probably get by. Maybe DeAndre Baker steps up, the former first-round pick, and ends up doing something. But if you ask me, I still want Bashaud Breeland to return. I just do. Like, I think he would be a good player on this defense for another year or two. He's only 28, 29 years old. He's still in his prime, and the best 2 years of his career have been under Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo the past 2 seasons. So he just wants to be paid fairly. He's not asking for elite top-flight corner money, but he probably wants $5-6 million per year, and at this point in time, Kansas City just does not seem willing to pay that price tag for Bashaud Breeland. So we'll see. He's getting interest from other teams like the Chicago Bears, like the Detroit Lions, and I do think it's possible that he will be in a different uniform this upcoming season. We'll monitor this story, and we'll keep you guys updated when it comes to Bashaud Breeland. Now, guys, I've been telling you for a few weeks now to download the News Break app because it's a great app. You can keep up with all your local news on one app, on one feed. And, hey, we have a Raiders channel here at Chat Sports. They're also on Newsbreak. And Mitchell Renz and the Raiders, they're crushing us in Newsbreak downloads this month. You got to use that link below, chatsports.com/ChiefsNB. They've got 25 downloads this month. We only have 11. If you don't use that link, I don't get credit, and I continue to get bodied by Mitch in the office. And, hey, we know the Chiefs always body the Raiders. Chiefs Kingdom so much better than Raider Nation. Help us out. Use that link below. It'll redirect you to the App Store, and you can download the Newsbreak app, chatsports.com/ChiefsNB. And like I said, it's not just so I can get a little bit of a, cred in the office. It's a great app as well. Local news, weather updates. You can keep up with politics if you want to, pop culture, food, more sports content, written articles, articles and videos, plus videos from the Chiefs Report. Help me out. Download the app today by using that link. I'll be sure to put it in the comments. I'll put it in the description of this video. That way you can just click, download today, chatsports.com/ChiefsNB. Let's catch up to the Raiders, please, ASAP when it comes to Newsbreak downloads. You're watching the Chiefs Report. I'm Harrison Graham. How about signing Todd Gurley in NFL free agency? Well, Bill Barnwell threw this idea out there of ESPN.com. He predicted that the Chiefs will sign Gurley after June 1st comes and goes, when a lot of people anticipate more free agency movement because, players can get cut for a cheaper number after that point, so teams should be able to free up more cap space. Now, if you ask me, I got a lot of opinions on this. The number one fact of the matter is Todd Gurley has really declined the past couple of years. He is not the same guy. Just 3.5 carries this past season, or 3.5 yards per carry with the Atlanta Falcons. He's got a little bit of value. He's still a good kind of goal line type of back. He had 9 rushing touchdowns last year despite the brutal yards per carry number that I just mentioned. But there's simply no doubt he's not the same guy, and the reason for that is injuries have buried Todd Gurley. They just have. He's only 26 still. He should not be this reduced of a player at this point in his NFL career. We were talking about Todd Gurley as an MVP candidate as a running back as recent as 2 or 3 years ago. Let's just look at the decline here. And in 2017 and 18, obviously with the Rams, also spent 2019 with the Rams, but that's when the decline started to happen, 2020 with the Falcons, of course. Just look at the yards. Rushing yards in 2017 and 18, over 2,500. Yards per carry, almost 5. Receiving yards, almost 1,400. 11 yards per catch. 40 total touchdowns in 2 years for a running back. That's incredible. Rush yards, like 60% of the total there from the 2 prior years. Yards per carry. This is what really stands out. The explosive stats. Less than a yard than before. 3.7. Not good. Receiving yards, like nothing. He used to be one of the most dynamic receiving backs in the league. Receiving average, half of what it was before. Still a decent touchdown guy. 23 touchdowns in 2 years is very productive on that regard, but there's no explosion. There's no, big-time plays of 20, 25-yard rushes, and catching-wise, basically non-existent. And that was a big part of his game moving forward. And you figure with Kansas City, if you're going to add a depth rotation type of back, which is what Gurley would be in this backfield at this point, does it make sense to get a guy that isn't that involved in the passing game anymore? This is a passing offense in Kansas City. Get your votes in. Do you have interest in signing Todd Gurley? Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you're asking me, I just don't have any interest. Where does he fit in this backfield? If I knew I was getting 75% of peak Todd Gurley, I'd be like, okay, be a good RB2, compete with Darrell Williams there, but he's half the player he once was at best. I mean, there's just no explosion there. Basically, you would be bringing him saying, okay, he's probably better in short yardage than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's it. That's not enough to sign him, in my opinion. You've got CEH, who's your RB1 for the foreseeable future. Darrell Williams ran really, really well and really, really hard down the stretch last year. I think he established himself as your RB2. You signed Jerick McKinnon, who can be that pass-catching back in rotation as well. And I would still rather give a young player like Darwin Thompson opportunities than sign a washed Todd Gurley, which I hate to be harsh with the term, but that's just kind of what he is. He's pretty freaking washed at this point, which is a shame because he's only 26 years old, but his knees are just shot. He kept having knee issues toward the end of his time in L.A., and that carried over into Atlanta last year. We thought maybe a fresh scenery would help. Didn't. 3.5 yards per carry, 44th out of 47 running backs who qualified. That's just not going to get it done. So I'm not very interested. Is there harm in bringing him into camp and letting him compete? No, but honestly, he could probably find a better opportunity elsewhere than he could with the Kansas City Chiefs. Subscribe to the Chiefs Report. If Todd Gurley signs, we'll make a video on it because that is what we do. And plus, the more subscribers we get, the more videos we can do. You see the link below, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. We're at about 4 or 5 videos per week right now, which is good. Some of our other channels, we're posting every day, 7 days a week. We want to get this channel to that level here at Chat Sports. Check that link below. Share it with your friends in Chiefs Kingdom. And for those of you just watching, which is everyone, of course, hit that red subscribe button. Let's continue to grow the Chiefs Report. Oh, we couldn't do another video without Julio Jones, could we? That's the hot topic in the NFL. Well, a current Chief has spoken on it. Travis Kelce hopped on ESPN's NFL Live on Tuesday and talked about a variety of things, of course, including bouncing back from the Super Bowl loss, and admitted, hey, I'm intrigued by the idea of potentially signing or trading for Julio Jones / seeing where he goes, right? I mean, star players across the league are watching this very, very closely to see where Julio ends up, and in a lot of cases, actively recruiting him like a DeAndre Hopkins with the Arizona Cardinals. So, by the way, Julio has requested a trade officially. Kelce had this to say, expanded quote from NFL Live on Tuesday. He said, look, my eyes are open. I'm peeking at the headlines. I'm seeing where he goes. Listen, that's a game changer. When you talk about guys that can make plays anywhere on the field, full route tree, no matter where you put them, that's a guy that changes the game and changes teams. So I'm interested to see where he lands. Julio in Kansas City, this would be electric. Like, I'm not saying you should trade a first-round pick or do anything crazy for him. But if I'm Brett Veach, honestly, I'd be shocked if he hadn't done this at this point. I'm doing my due diligence. I'm calling Atlanta. I'm saying, hey, where are we at with this Julio thing? Like, you get him to Kansas City, and everybody's like, oh, he's broken. He's not the same guy anymore. I disagree. I think Julio Jones can still be a really impactful player. I would be fired up if he landed in Kansas City. What do you think? Play GM for me. You're Brett Veach for the day. Should the Chiefs trade for Julio Jones? Type T for trade, type P for pass. If you're not interested, obviously type P for pass. I'd like to look into it, so I'm going to type my T for trade. Also on NFL Live, Marcus Spears, who's a staple on that show at ESPN, said this about the Julio situation. Said, quote, bottom line, Julio's asked for a trade, and he wants to go somewhere he can win, so that's all people need to know. Beyond that, when we get on the field and start talking about football, there are destinations that are great fits for him, one being the Baltimore Ravens, the other, the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, I said it. This will be interesting to say the least. And look, like I said, everybody's like, oh, the injuries have caught up, this and that. Well, in 9 games, I mean, project that out over 16. That's what, 1,400 yards, 6, 7, 8 touchdowns? Yeah, I think he's just fine. Don't believe me? Look at what he did the year before in 2019, almost a 1,400-yard season on 99 catches and 6 touchdowns. Is he peak Julio? Probably not. But I think when he's healthy, he's 85, 90% that guy. And what does that tell you? He's still a number 1 type of receiver for sure, a very high-end number 2, which is all you would really need him to be in Kansas City. There's plenty of fuel left in Julio Jones' tank. I have no doubt about that. I'm not saying trade for him and sign him to a 5-year extension, but I think he can be an impactful player for 2, 3, 4 more years. Yeah, he might miss some games at this point in his career. Injuries have piled up, but the Chiefs have enough in their arsenal that they can afford for him to, play 12 out of 16 games as long as he's healthy for the postseason. I think they should consider this. Travis Kelce is intrigued by the idea of getting Julio Jones on board, and obviously I am as well. And hey, maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you don't want him. So predict it for me. Where will Julio Jones play next season? I don't think it'll be the Falcons. Not saying it'll be the Chiefs, but I do not think he will be in Atlanta. Once June 1st comes and goes, I think he will get traded shortly after. What do you guys think? Predict it for me. Where will Julio Jones play this next season? Just to kind of put a wrap on this show, I like talking about Patrick Mahomes whenever we get the opportunity to do so. He's dabbing up Luka Doncic courtside. I mean, come on. Luka is balling out against the Clippers, and Patrick Mahomes and his fiance Brittany Matthews. I can't remember if they got married yet or not. They have a kid. They're engaged. Whatever the situation is, they were sitting courtside watching Luka and the Mavs take down Kawhi and the Clippers, and everybody's freaking out like, oh, but OTAs are going on. Bro, Patrick Mahomes has a private jet. He's going to be at OTAs today. Don't worry about that in the slightest. The man's living his best life. He's dabbing up Luka courtside after the game. Let the man live. He's doing great. Don't worry about this guy. He's attacked the rehab. He's ahead of schedule, as we previously discussed here on the Chiefs Report. Hey, man, Luka, Mahomes, that's some star power right there, baby. That was fun to watch last night and to see Mahomes in the crowd. Dirk Nowitzki was in the crowd. It was a great night at Staples Center. And living here in Dallas, the Mavericks winning, not such a bad thing either. Who is your favorite non-NFL athlete? Obviously, we all love Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, all these dudes for the Chiefs. Who's your favorite non-NFL athlete? It's probably Luka Doncic for me. I'm a pretty big Mavs fan down here in Dallas. Let me know what you guys think. Favorite non-NFL athlete in all of sports. And, hey, there's a lot of good ones out there. It's a great time to be a sports fan. We'll see you guys soon. You see the link below. Subscribe. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Harrison Graham, signing off.